Hey Marilyn, I know it's Friday Reads, but can you do an impression of the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz?
Bert Lahr, the comedian, vaudeville, and actor? Well, he was from Yorkville in Manhattan, so I'll give it a try. I do believe in brevity. I do believe in brevity. I do believe in brevity. I do. Brevity with a touch of levity. Hello booktubers, and welcome back to my channel. I'm the Marilyn Maya, the baby boomer booktuber, and this is Friday Reads, which you might get sometime this weekend, depending on my lovely partner Jackson, who helps me with the editing. Okay, he does all of it. I'm very excited today because I got my new glasses that I've been talking about for ages. I don't know, tell me if you like them. They seem like they're a little bit of an odd shape, but let me know in the comments. And I'm also excited because I finally got my copy of Passing with an extra bonus of Quicksand by Nella Larson. And it's a great cover of three women walking the streets of New York. And I knew a little bit about Passing because it's all over BookTube because of another book that's out there that I can't remember right now, but it'll be in the cards. But I started reading Quicksand last night, and let me tell you, it's really great. So I kind of looked it up, and this is what it says about it. Nella Larson introduces the educated mixed-race protagonist, Hella Crane, who struggles to find her identity in a world of racialized crisis in the 1920s. The novel begins with Helga teaching at a Southern black school in Naxos, which is meant to be a fictional mirroring of the Tuskegee Institute. Helga is the daughter of a Danish mother who died when she was an adolescent, and a West Indian father who is absent. Her early years were spent with her Danish mother and white stepfather, who loathed her, and there began her torn relationship with her split identity. The novel gives us a glimpse into the dichotomy of being mixed race and the divergence into two vastly different worlds as the protagonist travels through uniquely different cultural spaces, from 1920s jazz age Harlem to Copenhagen. Now, if that doesn't sound great, wait till you see the first line. Wait till you hear the first line, I should say. Helga Crane sat alone in her room, which at the hour, 8 in the evening, was in soft gloom. Only a single reading lamp, dimmed by a great black and red shade, made a pool of light on the blue Chinese carpet, on the bright covers of the books which she had taken down from their long shelves, on the white pages of the opened ones selected, on the shining brass bowl crowded with many-colored nasturtiums beside her on the low table, and on the oriental silk which covered the stool at her slim feet. That was a long sentence done very beautifully, and I'm very excited about reading the rest of the book. And the blurb in the back says that Nella Larson's novels, Quicksand and Passing, 1929, document the historical realities of Harlem in the 1920s and shed a bright light on the social world of the black bourgeoisie. The novel's greatest appeal and achievement is not sociological, but psychological. And I don't want to read the rest of it, but I said I was going to do brevity. But I'm very excited. This was, it's still February, so I'm hoping to get it in for Black History Month. And I'm also interested because of the topic of being bicultural, biracial, and I was also born in New York City, and Harlem in the 20s and the jazz age is very interesting to me. Okay, my next book I picked up after reading some of the British novelists, Elizabeth Taylor, and really liking them. And I haven't started this one yet. It's called The Sleeping Beauty. And it says, it's a very interesting blurb. It's a love story of middle age by a writer whom Arthur Meisner, who I don't know, so let me know in the comments if you know him, called the modern man's Jane Austen. Now, isn't that enticing? Vinnie Tumulty is a quiet, sensible man. When he goes to stay at a small English seaside resort, his task is to comfort a bereaved friend, Isabella. A master of sympathy, Vinnie looks forward to a few solemn days of tears and consolation. Then, on the evening of his arrival, he looks out the window at sunset and catches sight of a mysterious, romantic figure, a beautiful woman walking in the seashore, by the seashore. Before the weekend is over, Vinnie has fallen in love completely and utterly for the first time in his middle-aged life. But Emily is a sleeping beauty, her secluded life hiding bitter secrets from the past. How can this unlikely Prince Charming break the spell and rouse her from her dreams? It's a Virago modern classic, and I was lucky enough to pick it up at the library. So I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but it should be soon because it's a library book. All right, now the next book I picked up at one of those online used book places like A Books, Thrift Books, Second Time Around or something like that. And I was pretty disappointed. They said this was a good copy. Well, this is a 1951 edition of a 1949 book, but I heard so many good things about it. It's called Oh, the Brave Music by Dorothy Evelyn Smith. And after I had picked this up, and I think I paid quite a few dollars for it, for the state that it's in, Lil from Lil's Vintage World told me that there's that they have been republished by the British Women's Library. So if I really like it, I'm going to order it or ask for it for a birthday or Mother's Day or whatever is coming up soon. I'll read you something about it. Oh, the Brave Music is a coming-of-age novel, and has been compared to I Capture the Castle, which I haven't read, and Guard Your Daughters, which also I haven't read, by Simon David Thomas, who is also series consulate for an excellent series. So I guess it was made into some kind of series. I didn't know that. All the young female narrators in these books have strong personalities, all of them with quite original voices, and a way of very candidly expressing emotion, which is quite endearing. However, I would say that the feeling of melancholy pervading Oh, the Brave Music was quite deep. Sometimes I was reminded of the hardships of Jane Eyre. Some of the descriptions of the Yorkshire moors was certainly reminiscent of Wuthering Heights, along with its pent-up passion. Another theme of the novel was that of loss and abandonment, and it was particularly hard to see Ruan cope with these emotions so bravely during her young life. So, being compared to Jane Eyre is quite something, and I hope it does measure up. Okay, so my next book, I went to a used bookstore and they had some good books there, but I had read all of them and I didn't want to pick one up just to put in my shelf. But this one, I said, why not? It's 9 Perfect Strangers by Liane Moriarty, and the New York Times bestselling author of Big Little Lies. And I have to say I hated the beginning, but I've had this experience of hating the beginning in another book that I'm going to talk about. So maybe it'll get better. I just really didn't like the prologue, and I didn't like the first character that we're introduced to. So I'm going to let you tell me. It's basically about 9 strangers who meet in a kind of a weird health resort is what I'm getting out of it. And I'm hoping, I've never read Liane Moriarty, but since she's so popular, I'm hoping for the best. Okay, so my last book is really, I had picked it up for March Mystery Madness, which I'm so excited to be part of. I'm not one of the moderators, but I mistakenly picked up the group read, which I thought was the group read for 2021, which I think is the guest list by the same author, Lucy Foley. But this is The Hunting Party. And I've never read Lucy Foley. And I have to say, this is becoming an unput-downable book for me. However, in the beginning, so let me read you a little bit of the blurb. During the languid days of the Christmas break, a group of 30-something friends from Oxford meet to welcome in the new year together, a tradition they began as students 10 years ago. For this vacation, they've chosen an idyllic and isolated estate in the Scottish Highlands, the perfect place to get away and unwind by themselves. And murder ensues, of course, because it's a murder mystery. I have to say that the beginning was turning me off, but I kept on reading and it became better as it went on. I'll tell you why the beginning turned me off. It was not subtle in the least bit. It was the way they brought in the characters. Everyone had a personality, had a very, they wanted to tell you exactly all these characters. And well, it says a group. And the group is the beautiful one, the golden couple, the volatile one, the new parents, the quiet one, the city boy, and the outsider. And everyone was described in that vein. And I haven't found out who the murdered person is. They're keeping that a secret. And as it goes on, I became quite fascinated with where they are in this isolated, though it's very hard to believe that it would be this isolated and that popular. And I became interested in the way the story was going. But subtlety, no. I think that what's missing from thrillers, and I guess this is a thriller more than it's a mystery, or it's both, mystery thriller. I think what's missing is the subtlety of Agatha Christie, who didn't have to bang you over the head with her characterizations. I mean, everyone seemed realistic, and in this they seemed like caricatures. Anyway, I can't stop reading it, so that's a good sign. And maybe I'll pick up the guest list for the group read if I can get through all of the books that I'm planning to read for March Mystery Madness. Well, I hope that was short enough. I hope that there was brevity in that and you enjoyed that little impersonation of mine. Please subscribe if you're new and hit the notification bell. I want to thank all my subscribers and anyone new to my channel. I really do appreciate all of the support that I'm getting and all the friends that I'm making. So until we meet the next time, my friends, aloha oi.